Last video we learned about weaving with one strip of paper, and we learned that the basic weave is just the pattern of a piece of paper going under another piece of paper, over a piece of paper, under a piece of paper, and over a piece of paper. Now last time we only did one color, but for the project that you will be doing in a couple of classes, it will require more strips of paper and more colors of paper. So we want to take what we learned from the last video and we want to see what it looks like when we start using two colors and two strips of paper. For this video, you are going to have a larger practice, and you are going to notice right away that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 top squares and 1, 2, 3, 4 bottom squares. Just like last time, we're going to go ahead and start with orange as our practice for our top weave. And for our bottom weave, everybody is going to be using a purple strip for their weave. Your paper fits perfectly within the white. The left and the right matches up, left and the right matches up, and the top of your strip lines up with the boxes as well as the top. Before we start doing any projects in class, we always write our first name, and your class code. Your class code is just the number of your grade level, so you are all in first grade, so all of your class codes will begin with the number 1. If you are in Mrs. Gross class, your class code is 1G. If you are in Mrs. Herden's class, your class code is 1H. And if you are in Mrs. Colliard's class, your class code will be 1C. So just like with our first practice, we're going to start with our orange paper, and to make sure that it's not confusing, we are going to start by going under our white paper and feeding our strip through to the second square. So we will have the extra orange, we will have a white square, we will have an orange square. We have our under, over pattern. We went under, we went over. For the next square, we are going to go under and then back over on our fourth. So again, our weave pattern is under, over, under, over. Our color pattern should be white, orange, white, orange. Before we glue, we want to make sure that our piece of paper is straight and not at an angle, either going down or up. We want to make sure that it is fitting with inside of our squares so that the top of our weave and the bottom of our weave line up with our squares. We also want to make sure that our paper strip is not too far to the right or too far to the left, as it will make it challenging for us to finish a weave and to glue. After you've double checked your pattern, white, orange, orange, and you check to make sure that your strip lines up with the top and the bottom, the left and the right, we're going to go ahead and fold our last square over and glue it down so that way our weave does not fall apart when we try to move it to the drying rack or hang it in the hallway. Gluing just like last time, we dip, just the tip. We turn and spin our brush to make sure it doesn't drip. We do not wipe off glue on our cup because we need it. Go ahead and apply glue around the outside edges of your square with an X in the middle. Our brush does not stay in the glue, our brush goes on our cardboard. You can go ahead and fold and hold to the count of 5 in your head. Rub around the outside edges and the X in the middle. Once your outside is glued down, we don't have to glue down the inside square weaves, but we will take our paper and flip it over. After flipping, we want the end to be glued down, so we will fold it. We will dip, just the tip, turn and spin so it doesn't drip. You will apply glue around the outside edge of your square with an X in the middle. Brush goes on the cardboard, push the flap down, hold to the count of 5, rub around your edges and the X in the middle. Once you're glued down on the outside edge, we can flip back to the front where we see our name. We also see our first weave completed where we went under, over, and we have the color pattern of white, orange, white, orange. To complete our second weave, we are going to add a second color, and for our practice, we're going to go ahead and use purple. And again, our strip fits perfectly on our template. It fits on the top and bottom of our rectangle, so you're going to want to make sure that you're lining it up with the lines. For our purple, instead of going under, over, we're going to do the opposite, and we're going to start by going over our white and then under. So our pattern changes. On the top we wanted white, orange, white, orange. For the bottom pattern, we're going to start with purple and then go to white. When we're done with this, it's going to look more like a checkerboard, but instead of it being black and white, ours will be purple, orange, and white. So I went over, under, for your third square, you're going to go over, and for your last square, we're going to go under. So your basic weave is still maintaining the over under, except for the purple we are starting with the over, going under, going over, going under. And to make sure that you did it right, make sure your color pattern is purple, white, purple, white. Check that your purple is lined up with your lines and not crooked. Also double check that the left side matches up with the left side of your white paper, and they should fit perfectly within our squares. Before we glue it down, make sure you have white, orange, purple, white, purple, white. If those are the color patterns that you have, you've done your weaves correctly. We can go ahead and glue down the edge of our purple by folding over the tab. You can grab your glue. We dip just the tip. We turn and spin to make sure our glue is not dripping. We apply glue around the outside edge and an X in the middle. Our brush goes on our cardboard. Our paper gets folded back down. We push and hold to the count of 5. You can go ahead and rub around the edges and the X in the middle. We glue down the far square on the left. We want to make sure we take our paper and we flip it. And we are going to fold our purple tab on the back side. We will dip just the tip. We will turn and spin so it doesn't drip. We will glue around the outside edge with an X in the middle. Brush goes on the cardboard. Fold your paper back down. Push and hold to the count of 5. Rub around the outside edge and the X in the middle. We can turn our project back over so we can see our name and class code. Before turning this in, double check that you have white, orange, purple, white, purple, white. And now you have done a 2-color pattern weave of the basic weave under, over, under, over.